Awesome, great, glorious day it is. This is the day the Lord has made, and indeed we shall rejoice and be glad in it. Welcome to yet another exciting episode of the Umubanga podcast, where we aim to inform, transform, as well as inspire. Ladies and gentlemen, today our guest is one with a big heart, filled with love for all, and an extra one for kids, eh? And is the co-founder of Little Legends Pre and Primary School. She has organized several children's programs, including spearheading the management of one of the largest children's Bible school classes, popularly called VBS. A spirited, introverted, foodie, wife, and mother, our guest is one who is naturally bent for encouragement with a mission to inspire others to live for God's glory. She is a Zambian blogger, author, mentor, faith-driven entrepreneur, and founder of the famous warrior community. Today, she has come to judge it up with us on the Umubanga podcast. So, ladies and gentlemen, please put your virtual hands together and welcome our very own famous warrior, Louise Mupeta.
I feel like you're talking about somebody else when you do the whole intro in that way. Thanks for having me.
How does it make you feel like you're listening to somebody reading your bio? Because many times when a life history is read, it's
it's at your funeral. You're not here. Exactly. So. It feels weird. Yeah, like even when you mention things like VBS, it's like, oh yeah, I used to do that. Hey, wow. I've actually done some things in this life. But yeah, it feels like you're talking about somebody else.
So look, you greatly interacted with kids, and some of them have grown now.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel? Because that's like planting a seed, and there's a song I'm reminded by Ray Botts. I think the title is "Thank You for Giving to the Lord, for I am the life that was saved." So how does that make you feel, seeing some of them serving in church, some of them serving in different areas of life? Like, how does that make you feel?
For one, it makes me feel old. I'm like, okay, if you are that age now, what does that make me? But then also, there's that sense of pride. Like, okay, like God has really used my life to do something sensible. You know, like if I could have these kids be in my Sunday school classes, and now, like you're saying, they're serving, they're getting married, you know, they're doing the thing. You kind of feel like, okay, I've done something.
Awesome. Yeah. So for somebody watching this and they're wondering, like, who is Louise? So who is Louise?
I am a Lusaka girl, born and raised in Lusaka. I've even though people find that hard to believe by looking at me, I've never lived anywhere else in the world. I've only lived in Zambia and only in Lusaka. I'm the eldest of 3 children. I was raised by a single mom. I'm a wife now. I'm a mom. You know, I've got 2 kids of my own. But I think the core of who I am is that Lusaka girl that was raised by a single mom. Yeah. Like when I add all the layers, if I go down to the core, I'm still that girl.
Okay. So in terms of school, what did you study? Who did you interact with in primary? Like, because our interactions in school, even like primary, looking back, are what sometimes somewhat shape who we are now. So what was that journey like?
I remember my mom making it a point, even though she was a single mom, to take me to good schools. She couldn't afford the very fancy schools, but she had promised herself that she wouldn't let me go like to a government school. She was so determined. She would hustle, she would do whatever it took to make sure that she took me to good schools. So I remember having a very good preschool experience. I loved school. Even when I would be sick, I would cry to go to school. So that was like my foundation. And then back in the day, there was Maranatha Christian School. If you remember, it was run by Danny Pule. Danny Pule and his wife were running that school. So I did like my primary, the first 3 years of my primary at that school. And then I got moved. And that's the school I stayed at. The 3rd school I stayed at until I graduated. So I've only had 2 like school experiences if I exclude preschool.
And then in terms of university, did you?
I didn't go to like the typical university. I did distance learning.
Okay.
So I did an associate's degree in child psychology, and then I also studied daycare management, but it was all through distance learning.
You didn't do class.
No, as much as I wanted to have that experience, and I'm a very, I grew up being very academic and wanting to have that experience and believing that that was my path. But obviously God had other plans, and it ended up not being my path. And now when I really sit down and like look at my life, I'm like, I really wasn't an academic. I had to conform to be that person because that was what you had to do. You go to school, you pick a career. Like that's all we had back then. Now we've got so many options. We have people saying, "Oh, I'm a creative. You know what I mean?" So I think God knew best. God knew best. I would have excelled in whatever it is that I chose to do. I know because I'm hardworking and I always apply myself. But when I look back now, I'm like, not really the best use of who God made me to be.
Okay, so in terms of like growth in the house, so were you brought up Christian? Of course, I do understand that everybody born in Zambia is a Christian.
No, they say they are, but no.
But yes, so it's everybody identifies to be a Christian because it's written in the preamble of the Constitution. So everybody identifies as a Christian. So were you brought up Christian? Like,
yeah, I was brought up Christian and like real Christian. And we went to church, we prayed. Yes.
So even your born again journey was
through my mom. My mom always put faith first.
Okay.
She taught us, even like with conversations with my sister, like we remember having conversations about like being kids and having nightmares and like how did we know to pray? Like when you wake up and you've had a nightmare, like those are things mom taught us to do. So she got saved in her 20s, going to church with friends. And so by the time she had us in her mid to late 30s, in her mid 20s to early 30s, she had already cemented that faith journey of her own. And so, definitely Jesus was a part of the whole thing. She would read the Bible to us. It wasn't just a religion. It wasn't just like, oh, we go to church on Sunday. Like it was more than that, even at a young age for us.
Okay.
Yeah.
So look, in your bio, it says that you're an author. So look, you went distance education. What prompted you? What got you into the writing space now?
I feel like I've always been a writer.
So would you like send love letters as well?
Oh yeah.
Love you like a cup of tea.
Oh yeah, like I was the one who wrote like the really long love letters, 4 pages.
Poetic.
Obviously back then we didn't have cell phones. So even with my friends.
So pen pals.
Yes, like, I had not really pen pals because a pen pal is someone you've never met.
Yes.
Right?
So from afar.
But like friends maybe that I had and then they moved schools and things like that. So would find like a friend whose cousin goes to that other school. But and then you pass letters. But I was definitely the one that wrote the very long 4-page, 5-paged letters. And then when emails started, it was the very long emails. But I feel like I have always been a writer. Words have always played a very significant role in my life, which makes sense because now as an adult you read books like The 5 Love Languages and then you learn that words of affirmation is your primary love language. Like, that makes sense.
So you're the one who, so in terms of the love languages, sorry to digress. So you are the one who shares the words of affirmation?
Yes. No, like I receive love through words of affirmation. But then the thing is, whatever your love language is, the way you receive love is also how you tend to dish it out.
Okay.
Then you have to learn how your people now receive love. So is your
husband?
Oh, no. Unfortunately, I do not get love letters from my husband. I wish I did. He's a worship leader. I've always said to him, like, you're never going to write me a song. Like, just, no, babe, I composed this song for you. Like, no. He's like, no, I write songs for Jesus, not for you. But anyway. Always had a relationship with words. Always was the friend that wrote the long birthday posts on Facebook. And words just come very naturally to me. And so when I started blogging, I started taking that seriously.
Okay.
I started taking what I have to say with my words to an audience, whoever the audience is that's out there reading my blogs. It made me not only take it seriously in the sense that I had to really be mindful of what I actually say because someone is actually reading this, but then also to stay committed. Like if you're gonna say you want to start blogging, like don't take it casually. Be serious about what you're doing.
All right. We spoke of in the preamble on his famous warrior. How did that start and what is it about?
So famous warrior is, in my mind, is this community of people, both male and female, different ages, that love Jesus, that want to grow in their walk with the Lord and are intent on being encouraged and inspired to face the battles of life, because life is full of fights. And for us to survive, we have to keep throwing those punches and not giving up even when we fall down. So Famous Warriors is this community of people that are there to support each other, to receive this encouragement, to receive this inspiration, to keep on going, to keep on growing, to keep on pursuing that growth in our faith. It came about by my husband nagging me about one day having a TV show, which was just like, okay, dude, like
stop pushing it.
Like okay, where would I even start? You know, back then it's not there anymore, but there was this show called The Real. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's an American. It was like a talk show with 4 hosts, and they would talk about everything under the sun.
Similar to like The View, the way The View is now.
Yes, exactly. So every time he would see me watching that, he's like, "You need to start your own." I'm like, "Dude, like no." He's like, "No, but you like chatting, like you like having conversations, and this is something like
having conversations."
I know, right? Yeah, like he just kept on insisting, and he wouldn't let it go. And one day I just asked myself, like, okay, why is it that you are not taking this seriously? Because usually your spouse will mirror what they see in you, and because they spend more time with you, so they'll be used by God often to tell you what they can see, right? So when I got with God and actually took some time to take him seriously, obviously not seriously in start a talk show, but seriously in what he was saying, like, look, you have something to say, and not only do you have something to say, and God has brought you through some things that can encourage people, but you also like to have conversations with people who've also gone through stuff. So it kind of stemmed from there. And when we started working on putting it together, launching it, thinking, okay, what is this really going to be? Then we thought, okay, it's this community, and under that umbrella of the community, there's a YouTube channel, and then there's the blog.
So the blog, well, will deal with the publication, the journal soon. But now coming back, as I earlier asked on you working with kids, you and your husband decided to set up Little Legends. How did that come about? Was it birthed of the aspect that you served with kids, or?
I'm laughing because every time I tell this story, people don't believe it. But I'll tell it anyway.
Okay.
So Little Legends, like if I was to simplify, like completely simplify how Little Legends pre and primary school started, it started out of a conversation me and my husband had. So I'm a planner. I love to plan. Like I love to think ahead.
Like birth.
Yes, you are seeing a pattern, right? Yes, yes. But anyway, in this regard, we had been married 3 years, and we kind of felt like, okay, it's about time we started thinking about starting a family. I was still studying, so I was kind of coming to the tail end of my studies and thinking, okay, once I'm done with my studies, we might need to start having this conversation. And my biggest thing surrounding that conversation was, okay, if we have a baby, then where does the baby go when I go back to work? Because at the time I was working at the church and doing all those things that you mentioned in the bio. And in my mind, it just didn't occur to me that I could have like a nanny, and I don't know, I just didn't feel like that was what I wanted. And so we started talking about it, like, okay, how would that look financially? Do we need to start planning financially to be able to afford that when the baby comes. And so that kind of started us on this path. Like, okay, if we need to do some financial planning, we need to know how much childcare costs.
Yep.
So Friday used to be our off day. And so we picked like 2 Fridays in a row and just spent our off day going around to different daycare centers and, all these creches and things like that to see what they had to offer, but also to kind of get like price estimates of, okay, if we are planning to start saving and having ourselves be in this financial position at this point, this is what we need to do. And everywhere we went, we were just like, like, I don't see myself taking my child there. For some reason, there was always something that we didn't like. Either he didn't like something or I didn't like something. And so one night, again, having the conversation and just complaining about the whole thing and telling him, no, maybe we just need to save, have money enough saved that I can just take a whole year off work and just be home with the baby. Like, is that even financially feasible? And I think in his frustration, because even today, he always says when he said that, he didn't mean it. But he was like, if this is such a big deal to you and you don't like any of the places that you're going to, then just start your own daycare.
Yeah.
And he said that to me and moved on. And in my mind, I started planning to start a daycare. And yeah, the rest is history.
Here we are. So how many years past now?
This August will be our 10th year.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, we started in 2014.
A decade celebration.
Yeah, I hope. Yeah, I
it
think
just has to be done.
Yeah,
It's a huge milestone.
Too.
Like,
yeah, I think so too.
Okay, awesome. So look, the famous warrior turned into a blog, community, YouTube channel. Now we see this properly designed. I know EMR did amazing
shout out
stuff
to EMR
on this. Like, as I said earlier, that they say that don't judge a book by its cover, but this one we can definitely judge it on how it's
I really
properly
love this cover.
put up. Like,
I love the layout. I love everything Emmanuel did on this project, and I'm so grateful for him.
You are worth the fight. Who's worth the fight?
Everybody.
Okay.
Everybody.
Explain more on.
So like I said earlier, I feel like life is a fight. And maybe it's because I'm strong-headed and I'm a firstborn and I was raised by a single mom, so everything was a struggle, But in my mind, just everything feels like a fight.
Yeah.
Trying to make your marriage work is a fight. Trying to raise your kids is a fight.
Yeah.
Trying to raise kids today with everything that's happening in society is a heck of a fight. Being an entrepreneur is a fight. Pushing to advance yourself in your career, get better credentials, everything.
Just even waking up sometimes.
I know,
is a fight.
Right?
Like,
I know. But that's how I see the world. I see the world as we're here and we are fighting and everything is a fight. And it's either you can step up to the plate knowing that and knowing that being in that fight means that sometimes you'll be knocked down, but you won't be knocked out.
Yeah.
Or you can be naive and go into it thinking it's all la-di-da and get beat up. So my encouragement through this book is to remind people that not only is life a fight, whether we want it to be or not, but that we're worth sticking in the fight and not going through life on autopilot. Not going through life feeling sorry for ourselves, because you can be on either end of the spectrum. So you can either be on autopilot and just be like floating through life, or you can get in the ring and you're beat up, and every time you're beat up, you're that person that's, woe is me, what did I do? My ancestors, or God didn't love me, or, I have this curse. So you can either be on either end. But I want people to be on the middle ground. The middle ground is knowing life is a fight, knowing that you have to engage in the fight, knowing that you have victory that's already been pre-given to you by Jesus who won the fight. And knowing that you're worth standing up in that ring and giving it your best shot, not just because you can, but because you have backup. You have backup in Jesus. So that's what the message of You're Worth the Fight is.
Okay. So this is a devotional journal.
Yes.
So I do understand that when one picks it up, they just shouldn't read it, but they should apply it
Yes.
and work with it. You are the author.
Yes, sir.
What are some of the key things which to date where even as you were putting this together, you were like, I would want somebody to pick something up from this devotional journal. What's that one thing? I know there are many areas which you touch, but what's that one thing which you feel, what's that one topic you feel like any person should get this?
I wouldn't say it's a topic. I would say it's an attitude.
Okay.
So the one thing that I would want my readers to get when they pick up this book, whichever topic they're reading, is that you can't go through life without engaging with yourself.
Yeah.
I think we forget that. We are good at engaging with other people. We're good at putting on the front, you know, even when we're not okay. We'll get out of the bed, we'll smile for the kids, we'll do their lunch boxes, we'll go to the office, we'll do what we've got to do. But then we never take the time to really sit and like, am I okay? I'm okay. If I'm not okay, where am I?
Yeah.
You know? And so for me, that's the one thing. That's the one thing. So yes, the questions are deep. Yes, some of the questions you might not want to answer.
Yeah.
But it's done on purpose for you to slow down enough to just check in and actually engage with yourself. Because when we engage with ourselves, then we engage with the Holy Spirit. Because you can't engage with yourself without asking for his help. Because you can't see what's really in your heart. You need him to show you. So for me, that's the one thing.
Okay.
Whichever chapter you're reading.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how long did it take you to put it together?
The $1 million question. It took me a month, but only because I had been blogging for a while. And so most of the content, the stories that I've shared in here were pulled from different blogs. So yeah, for someone out there like, oh my gosh, how did she write the book in Technically, I didn't write the book in a month because
we do have a helper who will give us strength.
Yes, indeed.
And lead us in all paths of righteousness.
Yes, indeed. And he did help. He did help. Because even with the team, with Emmanuel, with Lunyanshi, and just my friends that helped me edit the book, he did help. Because having everybody get on the same page, get on board and say, yes, we're doing this, we're releasing this book in 2 months was a miracle. But yeah, it took a month to put together and then another month to get samples printed and all that stuff. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome stuff. So look, you have this whole journal, and as you were saying that you daily fight, you're fighting with many things happening around you. How has been their journey? You running a daycare, kids, being a mother, being a wife, all those. And because Luke, you are telling me to say I am worth the fight, but there are times when I feel not worthy, when I feel not. So how have you been able to navigate that? Do you go back as well to your journal and be like,
yes,
go now.
EMR and Lunyanshi make me go back to my journal.
106.
They do. They do. Yeah, I think to answer that question, and this has just come to my mind now.
Yeah.
As I look back on my life, my childhood, my adolescence, my young adulthood, being, married young, the early years of my marriage, it was a fight. It was hard. And there were times when I did want to give up. There were times when I didn't even know that I was worth the fight. I was just going through the motions. I was just kind of just like, okay, you get beat up this side, you stand up, you get beat up again by another situation, and you're just kind of just going, surviving. And then, it dawned on me that, you know what? Somebody came all the way, lived a life, and died at 33.
Yeah.
Because I'm worth something to him. And I need to start acting like it. I need to start acting like that. I believe that to be true.
Yeah.
I need to start acting like I actually believe that I am worthy of love. I'm worthy of, goodness. I'm worthy of growth. And that was like a life changer.
Yeah.
A life changer. Because once your mindset shifts,
Yeah.
the external stuff can keep on happening because life still happens.
Yeah.
And I still had challenges. I still had tough stuff happen in life. But because of that mindset and knowing, like, not only am I worth fighting on, but like I'm not fighting alone, does change your perspective and does change how you show up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Reflecting on the challenging experience of you losing 2 children at birth with your husband, and the decision to still maintain a faith in God, which somewhat many people would even leave the faith. At that point, you had already started writing the blogs.
No, that was years ago.
Okay.
That was 10 years ago.
Okay. So that was before the blogs.
Yeah.
But now when you look back, do you feel those experiences as well attributed to you writing this journal to speak to somebody?
In one of the chapters, I talk about the experience we had after our son was born. So we lost 2 kids, and now we have 2 kids. So our firstborn was that child of victory, the one child you have after grief, after loss. And a week after he was born, he was admitted in hospital. It was just a whole dramatic thing. Get the book, read the book. But I do pull from different challenging situations in my life. And that's remained, and I think will continue to remain a very pivotal one. Because I can't speak for my husband, but I think having children and raising children is something that's just so miraculous. It's you can't really explain. It's a God thing. It's like you're partnering with God to do creation of human life. And when you lose that life, it takes a piece of you. Yeah. And I as much as I'm on the other side of that and I have my kids, I don't think those pieces ever come back. You kind of still go through life knowing, that happened. Remember when that happened? You sit there and maybe you're sitting just by yourself and you're like, you know what? I've been through some stuff. And it's made me stronger. And I was tempted to quit, trusting God. At that time, I was working at the church, knee deep in children's ministry, giving it everything, serving other people's kids, right? And then now every time you try to have your own baby, you lose it. Yeah. So that does a number on you. It does. The devil will do. He gonna do his thing. So
don't like kids anymore.
Yeah, and making you wonder, like, okay, is this really my calling, or what happens? Because also when you're in that position, people do look down on you, for lack of a better way to say it, and they wonder, like, okay, why is she running that ministry? She doesn't even have kids. There's always that parent that's just like, how can you tell us how to raise our children when you don't even have your own children? So there was that thing of, what if this never happens for me? Then what? Is this why you called me to be in children's? Because you knew I wasn't going to have children? I'm like, you have all those
questions.
Yeah.
Okay. Who's your closest friend?
My husband.
Okay.
But then very close second would be my sister and Chilombo. Shout out to my girl Chilombo.
What's your favorite food at the moment? I know maybe that's changing.
As a foodie, like, you don't really have a favorite. It depends on the weather. It depends on your mood. It depends on but I think whatever my mood, whatever the weather, my go-to comfort food. Comfort food, because we all need that. You have days when you're just not feeling your best and you just need something to just give you a hug from the inside. Weirdly enough, my go-to comfort food are my mom's samosas.
Oh, so you call her?
I call her. I'm like, hook me up with some samosas. I'll send you the money. And then
she sells them.
Yes, she sells them. That's her business. That was always like her side hustle growing up. Back to, I'm not gonna send my kids to government school. I'm gonna do whatever I gotta do. But yeah, since then she's just moved into that full time. Okay. So I grew up seeing those samosas, making those samosas. Like, my sister is like, how do you still eat those things? Like, aren't you She's like, no, me, I'm done. I saw those things. I packed them in plastics. Yeah. I'm done with samosas. But for me, it's just so weird. Like, even when I'm feeling sick or I'm just feeling low, I just want my mom's samosas. So on any given day, that would be like my go-to. Then the other like fancy food, like, you know.
But hopefully you've gotten the formula on how to make them.
I know how to make them.
But
I just don't make them. Like, it's hard work. Making samosas is hard work. So I'm going to call my mom. I'm not going to try and do them from scratch. But yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Awesome. Any particular song you're listening to right now which is guiding you?
At the beginning of the year, I felt like the song by Maverick City, what's it called again? Move Your Heart.
Okay, I thought maybe
Move Your Heart.
I want to be tried by
fire. I don't want to be tried by fire. Not
maybe
this
you want
year.
to be God's strongest warriors, right?
No, I'm
the
fine.
famous warriors.
No. But yeah, that's the song. Every other week, I keep coming back to that song. I kind of feel like it's what God, He wants to keep reminding me of what this year looks like. Like, this year for you is to learn how to move my heart.
Okay.
So that's a song I kind of have on repeat kind of every other day. And then for those people who, after I say this, say, she's not a real Christian. The new Jennifer Lopez album is fire.
Okay.
So been listening to that too.
You fallen. Yeah, it's not like you.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. This has been a great conversation. Look, I feel this book, each and every person should have it as a reminder. Scripture reminds us that many are the afflictions of the righteous, but the Lord delivers them from them all.
Amen.
Which shows that God is intentional. God, as you said, Jesus Christ came, 33, fought for us.
He didn't come for nothing.
I was watching a video and someone was like, we've reduced the death of Jesus Christ that it can't do much. It can't
like
work.
His blood is not enough anymore.
We need a specific anointing to be able to do certain
so it's
things.
His blood plus something else.
But this shows us and reminds us that Jesus Christ fought for us.
He fought. He did the fighting.
He said...
And then us is just to say, I'm worthy of what you did. I'm worth that.
So in this context, you're telling us, say, you're worth the fight. Yeah. Jesus Christ fought. So now what we do, we walk in the victory which He has given us.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. Where's the book available?
The book is available at Book World, Monday Hill, East Park, Grey Matter, East Park. It's also available at the Blessing Center Bookshop. That's Bread of Life International. And then those in the North Mid area, there's a beauty salon, a nail salon called Green Rose.
Yes.
So you can find it there as well. And if you follow us on social media, there's contact numbers. If you want to purchase directly from us, you can do that as well too.
Okay. So it's as well available on Amazon.
Yes.
And people can
so
check
international readers, you can get it on Amazon worldwide.
As well as www.famouswarriors.com.
Hisfamouswarrior.com.
Hisfamouswarrior.com. Okay. Awesome. So, looking forward to it reaching more hands.
Yeah, me
and
too.
Impacting more lives. Your life is worth emulating. I think God has smiled and poured His favor and grace on you to be able to impact. And as you go on, and as you earlier say, that it shows that you're getting old.
Yes.
Seeing the many lives transformed through the education system, as you rightly put it, even as the book says, you're worth the fight. It's building a firm foundation, a foundation of readers who in turn become leaders.
Yes.
I have to be careful with that because of the AOR.
Yes.
So
Yes.
yeah. So any last words you'd like to share to somebody watching this? What? Yeah.
I think my last words would be, I know life is hard, but don't give up.
You're
Like,
worth the
don't
fight.
give up. Yeah, you really are.
Yeah.
And it's not a cliche. It's not some catchphrase. Like,
Yeah.
you really are worth the fight. You really are. Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. This has been fun.
Yeah, thank you very much. So, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you have enjoyed this amazing episode of the Umubanga podcast. Hope you've been informed, transformed, inspired unto greater works. Remember that you are worth the fight. You might feel downcast, you might feel low. Remember, Jesus Christ came, shed his blood, beat the devil left, right, and center to tell you that you are worth the fight. You are greatly loved. You are greatly appreciated. Remember to get the book, Louise Mupeta, amazing author. Get her book, read it, reflect on it, be inspired unto greater works. From me, Dennis Mubanga Kabwe, it's bye-bye.